Good morning. It's a new day, and here are your little things for the day.
Celebration.
On March 8th, in 1822, Polish businessman Ignacy Lukasiewicz was born, who invented the most popular version of kerosene lamps, 7 years after a substitute for whale oil became available. In 1841, U.S. jurist Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. was born, who wrote the book The Common Law, which is still in print, and who was more than 29 years on the U.S. Supreme Court bench after Theodore Roosevelt nominated him successfully. In 1879, German chemist Otto Hahn was born, known as the father of nuclear fission, for which he later was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. In 1896, Canadian feminist Charlotte Whitton was born, who was the first female mayor of a major Canadian city, as she was appointed acting mayor of Ottawa in 1951 and elected in 1953 and 1960. In 1922, Japanese historian and manga artist Shigeru Mura was born, who grew up in the city of Sakai-Minato, where a road is dedicated to his story's characters. And in 1949, Peruvian footballer Teófilo Cubillas was born, who was selected as the best Peruvian football player in history, and is amongst the only 3 players who scored 5 or more goals in 2 different World Cups.
Remembrance.
On March 8th, in 1641, Chinese explorer Xiake died, who traveled throughout China for over 30 years, who wrote an extensive geographic treatise, and who was robbed of all his belongings several times during his mission. In 1917, German general and inventor Ferdinand von Zeppelin died, whose idea for airships was inspired by balloon ascents. Also on March 8th, in 1910, French female aviator Raymonde de Laroche became the first licensed female pilot. In 1917, protests on the International Women's Day in St. Petersburg started the February Revolution in Russia, which led to an end of the Romanov dynastic rule. In 1950, the production of the Volkswagen transporter van started, and in 1979, Philips demonstrated a compact disc, half a year after Sony presented a very similar technology.
Curiosity.
March 8th is International Women's Day. While women in ancient Egypt and India had the same rights under law as men, geographically and over time, there have been extreme differences. A key equal rights aspect is the right of women to vote in elections, which in modern history was in place in some regions of the world in the 18th and 19th century. However, there it sometimes was abolished before it got introduced again later. The majority of Western countries introduced voting rights for women after World War I, with Switzerland and Liechtenstein being the last European jurisdictions to do so between 1971 and 1990. Significant contributions to women's rights in modern history originated also from the labor movements in Europe and North America. For example, on February 28th in 1909, the Socialist Party of America organized a Women's Day in New York City. March 8th was declared International Women's Day by Russian revolutionary Vladimir Lenin in 1922 to honor the women's role in the 1917 February Revolution. Celebrating International Women's Day on March 8th was later promoted by the United Nations in 1977.
Thank you for listening. Help someone in need today and live up to your values. Have a good day.